mean way, like you can't see that girl no more. It's like, I said, but I'm missing that. And he said, well, let's do something about it. I said, yes, we've got to be intentional. I want to encourage you to take the time to pour into somebody. Because I'm looking at faces of people. You've got life stories. You've got stuff that you have learned that is beneficial to somebody. And we have this tendency to think sometimes, well, how am I going to help anybody? I'm pretty messed up. and there are certain areas in all of our lives that I think that we're just, in some days that we're just a wreck. But the one thing that we have as Christian men is we have the firm foundation of Christ. And we have the hope that comes from that relationship with Jesus Christ. And no matter how messed up we may feel at any particular time, there's somebody that we can help. And it's just being willing to do it. Because as I said earlier, if we're going to disciple somebody, it's going to require some kind of sacrifice. But the thing I've found out is that it's always worth it. Pouring whatever I've got into somebody else is going to help them through something. And at this point, if after 53 years I don't have some kind of life experience or some kind of faith experience that I can share with somebody, then I haven't been living much. And so I want to do that. First with my family, and I definitely want it to be there first. And I will tell you people who are in full-time ministry, that we call it. If we're working with the church, for some reason we call that full-time ministry. I think we're all in full-time ministry. But here's the thing I would really encourage you to do. Disciple your family first. I know that I've got friends who, because I've been a children's pastor most of my life. I've been on a church staff most of my life. These last few years has been a different dynamic for me. But I've seen some friends who were able to minister to so many teenagers and so many children while their kids kind of got left behind. And that's something that early on I thought, I don't want that to happen in my family. And so I'm going to pour myself into my family. Now, has everything turned out like I want it? Not yet. Yesterday, when I went to a Men and Women of Action rally, there's a guy there who's just a little bit older than me. And he knows my oldest son. And I don't know him very well, but he stood there and he gave me like 3 scriptures that he's prayed over my son and my son's wife. And it's some that my wife and I wrote down, and we came back last night to write those down, so we're going to start praying those over our kids as well. Find somebody and pour something into them. And I will tell you that there's going to be some return. Now, do we get to see it always? Not always. But there are now people who used to be this tall when I was their children's pastor. Some of them I've performed their wedding ceremonies. Some of them I've got to be a part of seeing their children born. And sometimes those people come to me now and let me know what an impact, something that was done in those formative years that they remember. So you awesome people, that you have so much God-given gifts, God gifts in you. I want to encourage you to find people. You already found them. They're already in your life for most of you. And be willing to pour what you've got into their hearts and just see what God will do with the gift that you give to those people. I want to thank these guys here. The more that I get to know Dean and Tony and Pastor Fleming and Ken and Todd, all of you guys. Bill Bowen, I get to work with you. It's always dangerous when I start calling names. But I just want to say that you guys are a great example of godly men. And let's don't be ashamed of the amount of faith that we have, but let's use the amount of faith that we have and increase somebody else's faith. Thanks for letting me be here this morning.
Yay! All right. A lot of y'all don't know. You probably know Rick because he's one of the faces out there everywhere of. I'm still recording.